Okay, so my eyebrows are already done. I did them off camera to save some time, so I'm gonna move right into foundation. For foundation, I'm gonna start off with the Lancome Ultra Wear foundation in the shade 415W, and I'm going to mix that with the Nars Sheer Glow in Syracuse. Okay, I'm gonna dab it all over my face and blend it out with the sponge. Okay, now that the foundation is on everywhere, I'm gonna move on to the eyes and then come back to the skin later. So I'm gonna use the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer to prime my eyelids. Okay, to start off with, for my transition shade, I'm gonna use the Morphe 3502 palette. And I'm gonna pick up this top shade right here and use it as my transition shade. And I'm gonna use a Morphe G24 brush. Just any big fluffy brush. And this shade is gonna go from the crease almost up to the brow bone. So next I'm going to take the Lime Crime Venus palette, and I'm going to take this top shade up here, which is called Creation, which is just a really warm brown shade, and I'm going to pop that in my crease. For the lid shade, I'm going to use the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette, which looks like this. And I'm going to use this shade and this shade. And I'm going to start with the darker cranberry shade in the middle to outer, and then move on to this lighter bronzy cranberry shade. So just with a flat brush, I'm going in with the cranberry shade first. And that's going to go in the center of the lid. I'm going to go in with that lighter shade. And I'm going to slap that in the inner of my eye. And just kind of push the two colors together and really blend it out. Alright, the last thing I'm going to do is add some definition to this outer corner. And out of the same Venus palette, I'm going to use the shade Iconic. This is the Sigma Performance Brush E36, which is just like a really teeny tiny blending brush. I love this performance brush. If you like me and you have really small eyelids or crease, or just, you know, a small shape of hair or hooded lid or anything like that, these little brushes are so good. Okay, so now that the eyes are almost done, I'm going to just do the face. For concealer, I'm going to mix two. I'm going to use the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in the shade Medium Dark Warm and the Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Medium. So I'm going to start off with the Urban Decay one first. because it's very close to my skin color, so I can kind of slap it on everywhere. And then the Tarte Shape Tape is a little bit lighter, so I'm going to use that for brightness. So I'm going to blend that out first, and I'm using a Morphe blending sponge. Then I'm going to use the Tarte Shape Tape right in the hollows of my eyes right here where it gets really dark, just to brighten that up. Alright, I'm going to use this on the hollows of my cheeks right here. This is a Sephora Make No Mistake Foundation and Concealer Stick in the shade Walnut. But I'm going to use it to contour my face today. So this is going to go on the hollows of my cheekbones. And then for the rest of my face, I'm going to use my favorite Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the shade Cafe. This is just like the perfect color for contouring for me. So I'm gonna use this. And I'm gonna put this on the sides of my nose as well. I'm going to blend my nose first with a sponge. And then with a brush, this is the e.l.f. Big Kabuki blending brush. I'm going to blend everything else. So I just kind of push and pat and kind of blend back towards my hairline when I blend in my contour shade. Now I never bring a cream contour down my jawline just because it's very strong and I don't like that look. I'll just kind of dust over it with a powder when I get there. Okay, so once I've blended that out, I like to take my sponge again to further blend the contour into the foundation and into the concealer. The sponge has the foundation and the concealer on it already, so it just kind of helps to blend everything really nicely. Okay, so now we're gonna set everything. To set my under eyes, I'm gonna use the Laura Mercier translucent powder. Now this concealer is so good, I didn't crease up that much, so I don't really have to do much reblending. I'm just gonna press that powder into my skin with that same damp beauty blender. And my chin. Nose. And my forehead. Okay, now to bronze the face, I'm gonna use a mixture of Hoola bronzer and Max Give Me Sun. And I'm using a NYX 8 brush. It's just a stippling brush. I find stippling brushes just apply powders on so nicely, so it's what I prefer to use. I also like to take the Hoola bronzer and apply it right here and right under here. It just adds definition to those areas. And for blush, I'm going to use MAC's Peaches, which is just a nice peachy shade. Goes with every look. Just gonna apply a little bit. And I'm using that same brush I used to apply my bronzer. Okay, and for eyelashes, I'm going to use Lilly lashes in the shade Mykonos. Okay, so the lashes are on. I'm gonna zoom you back in to finish smoking out the bottom lash line now. I'm gonna be using all the same colors that I used on the top of my eye for the bottom, and I'm gonna smoke it out. Technique's base shadow brush. And I'm going to start off with the shade Creation. This is my favorite brush for the bottom lash line. This is the e.l.f. Eyeshadow brush. It looks like this. It's just perfect for right under the eyes. So I'm going to take the shade Muse and put that just on the outer corner. And I'm going to use that Real Techniques blush to blend the two shades together. And then lastly, on the outer corner, I'm going to use that same shade Iconic. That's going to go right on the lash line. I'm gonna apply some mascara to my bottom lashes just so it could be as wispy as the top. Then now I'm gonna take the shade actually I'm gonna mix Shell and Rebirth together. Shell is really light pink with some shine, and Rebirth is kind of like a really bright fuchsia pink. So let's mix the two and pop that in the inner corner. Okay, so the last couple steps is brows, highlight, and lipstick. So I'm just gonna set my brows because I already did them before off camera. I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Clear Brow Gel, and I always set my brows after the makeup's done, just because sometimes foundation, eyeshadow, you know, all that stuff kind of gets in your brows. Okay, and for highlight, before I put highlight, I'm gonna put some Fix Plus on my cheeks. Just on my cheeks so the highlighter can go on really nice. Okay, from the Sweet Peach Glow palette, I'm gonna use the pinkish highlighter in here, and I'm gonna mix it a little bit with the e.l.f. Baked highlighter in the shade Gem. So I'm gonna use this one first as the base, and I'm gonna use a Morphe M501 brush. So I'm gonna put it on my temples, on the cheekbones. Now I'm going to use the Sweet Peach Glow palette to apply that pinkish highlighter. And I'm just going to put it on the highest point of my cheekbone, which is right there, where I want it to really kind of beam. I don't want it to beam across my whole face because then it'll look like a really strong white line. I just want it to beam right here and kind of fade out on the edges. Okay, and for the lips, I didn't film it, but I use MAC Spice Lip Liner with MAC's The Right Note lipstick, and for a gloss I use the NYX Butter Gloss in Apple Strudel. So this is the completed look, my cranberry pink smoky eye with wispy lashes. And I hope you guys like this video. Thank you so much for watching. See you on the next one.